Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would just share with you some of my paranormal things that have happened to me. Um, I am not a very frightened person. I am totally more afraid of, like when ghost hunting, I'm more afraid of people than I am of finding a ghost. I don't want anybody coming up and jumping on me in the dark. That kind of fright is more uh, frightening to me. So I've had dream things happen, but they can probably all be explained. Pardon me about my eyes. I just had my injections on Monday, so my eyes are still a little annoyed. Um, So, like I said, the dream things can kind of be explained. I've never been a huge dream interpreter fan, because dreams are usually what you're thinking about in the last week, and then it just comes into some weird story in your head. Um, but the first experience, well, like the way first experience, like a psychic-y thing I had, was when I was probably maybe 11 or 12. Um, there had been an apartment house around the corner from my house in Philadelphia, and um, it had caught on fire numerous times. I mean, numerous times. I don't know why. And we would just go and watch, and you know, uh, do what kids would do. So, the last time it caught on fire, it was just, we just, oh, okay, the apartment complex caught on fire again. So I just burst out crying, and my mom was like, "Why are you crying?" Now, I don't claim to be psychic in any way. I don't get feelings or hunches or anything. But I remember saying to my mom that people died. No one had ever died in the other fires. And I said to my mom, I was inconsolable. And I said to my mom, "Mom, people died. And it makes me so sad." And, she reassured me and everything. And indeed, people had died. So, skip ahead to my first, like, physical experience with something creepy. That was my dog barking. When my mom passed away, I was around 26. And my dad had passed away 5 years earlier. So when she passed away, we had to clear out her house. Um, I was the only one living in the Philadelphia area, so everybody kind of had to come in, and my sister, who lives in Baltimore, and I were both smoked, and we were sitting in the living room. And it wasn't like there was it was cold or hot, it was just normal. And we had a glass ashtray between us on the coffee table. And it wasn't a candy dish, it was an ashtray. So we were talking, and we both picked up our cigarettes. And we're still talking. I know this is, a couple minutes after we had picked up our cigarettes. And we started talking about my mom. And the ashtray just split in half. Just went clunk and split totally in half. And I remember my sister and I just, like, kind of staring at each other like, what just happened? So that was a really creepy thing. And like, people would think my house was creepy because it was really big and had an attic and everything. And that house was never creepy to me. And like I said, although friends and stuff would come in because of the size or the just the design of the house. It was an old house. So I didn't. I mean, I just tucked it away in my brain, not uh, thinking of it. But I always had a interest in the paranormal. So when I moved here, um, I didn't think anything of it. All I knew was of the previous owners were that they were a couple. They moved to Florida, and that they had 2 grown sons. Um, I had been up in my bedroom, making the bed, straightening up, whatnot. So it was around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and my girls were at school. My husband was at work. My husband at the time was at work, and I hear the front door handle. Now I kind of jiggle a little bit, and then I heard the door open. The squeak of the door, the sound of the door opening. And I kind of froze, and I was like, who got home early? Because I picked up my one daughter from school, and my other daughter took a bus. So I was like, this is weird. And my husband at the time always used the back door. So very rarely did anybody come in the front door. And it was always locked. So I hear the door open. And then I hear it shut. And I'm kind of like, okay. And I just didn't say anything. I don't know why. And then I hear what sounded like a school bag drop. And then I hear running up the stairs. And it stopped at the top of the stairs. So I go out and look, and I check the door. It was locked. And never had an explanation for it. Until I think I found one. The previous owners, like I said, had 2 grown sons. And after they had left here and, moved out years ago, one of their sons had passed away. And it was almost like he was coming home from school and running up to his room. It was very bizarre. So, like I said, that doesn't frighten me. As time went on, my younger daughter, who has special needs, we would just all be sitting here watching TV or doing whatever, and I would hear my daughter start laughing. And then I would look, and she would have a toy, and she was holding it up to something. And she would be offering a toy to a specific place and laughing. And she would do this for 10 minutes at a time. And had no I'd never seen her do that before. And after the first time I saw it, she did it quite often. And I had other people see her do it. One of my older daughter's friends actually saw it and ran out of the house screaming. She was so frightened by it. Because it was very obvious that Bridget was giving a toy or trying to give a toy to someone. And was enjoying playing back and forth with this person. Bridget's not verbal. She's So it was just very strange. So, um, that went on for a while, and that really hasn't happened, in a bit. But, so jump back about a year ago, um, or jump forward to about a year ago. uh, I, I took the dog out to the backyard. I don't know how to do that dog whistle that when you call a dog. And, excuse me, but I was trying to do it out there. And the dog was just wandering around the backyard and wasn't coming. So I just kept trying to do it because my boyfriend can do it and the dog just runs right to him. And I thought, well, maybe if I can learn to whistle like that, she'll come to me. And even if I do happen to achieve it for once, she still doesn't even answer me. But, so I was out in the yard doing this, and the dog finally came in, and I come in the house, and I hear a whistle. The exact whistle. Now, mind you, there's no one else awake in this house. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And, I heard this whistle. And it was not on just one occasion. And so every time I try the whistle, I'm like, when I'm outside, I'm like, please don't, please don't, let me know you're here again. Although I'm not, like I said, I'm not afraid. I had one experience. There's something else that happened around here I can't remember. I'll have to go back on my Facebook posts and see if I can remember it sometime. But I went to this mansion that is in disrepair and was ghost hunting. Now, I've done the spirit boxes and the recorders and whatnot. From this mansion, I did get an EVP, or electronic voice phenomenon, and I was so excited to show a friend that she did hear it, and I erased it. So now I have no proof of that. And I have no proof of this because this next part, because I was at the mansion and we were wrapping up for the night. Everybody was kind of getting tired, and it was a good-sized amount of people in there. So there was a kitchen, and they had shown us the kitchen in the beginning of the tour, before we were kind of let alone to wander. And they locked the kitchen because of the flooring. So the kitchen door had a small glass window in it. And it was totally black in the kitchen. And I was in the living room or dining room. I'm not sure which room had been designated as. So I went up to the door of the kitchen, and it shook so violently. And I was looking through the window at the time. I looked through the window, and that's when it started shaking. And I thought to myself, okay, I hope I don't see anything in that little window. But I checked. The doors were open in the building. There was no wind or anything like that. There's, excuse me, there is electricity in the building, but there's no heating or air conditioning or anything. So it was quite shocking. And this is one of the things I love to do. I've gone ghost hunting now for 6 years, 7 years, maybe a little bit more. And I usually go to Gettysburg when my daughter is at camp. And the one year, I go to a haunted bed and breakfast. I've been on a million ghost tours, like a million ghost hunts. Really not finding things, getting very disappointed because there was too many people who thought it was funny or whatever, and you can't hear anything. All you get on your recorders is other people. And I would stay at this haunted bed and breakfast. And I would stay myself. Like, the entire haunted bed and breakfast was empty, except for me. And the one night, now, I was told that if you tap on the window of your room, there will be a tap back. And so every time I went into the room, I would tap on the window. And it never happened until one night it did. And I heard the tap on the window. And then I heard a cat meowing. And there is supposed to be a ghost cat in this building. Been there 7 years, I think I've gone, and that was the only time I ever experienced anything paranormal. But I look forward to going back to this mansion because that really was active. There's footsteps in my attic all the time. Noises. When we first moved in here, the attic, I swear, was full of flies. We moved in December. The attic was full of flies. And I actually had to get a vacuum and vacuum them because it was cold and they weren't like, they were alive, but they weren't like flying all over the place. They were on the windows. So I got a vacuum to get rid of them. But I kid you not, that room was full of flies. That attic room. So I've had quite a few experiences, and I hope to have more. And if I do, and when I do, I will share them with you. I also have a lot of footage from ghost hunts that I've gone to that I've not had the opportunity to review because I don't have a computer like this is being done on my phone. And I don't want to be able, you really can't review any evidence in those little viewfinders. So I'm going to have to either hook it up to my TV or get myself a computer, which I need to do anyhow, because I don't know how to edit on this. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed my little paranormal journey there. And as always, I want you to take care and be well.